The title of this podcast is Why Was I Ever Doing That? Most recently, I listened to a Michael Singer podcast, and he gave the example of once you break a habit and you start to become aware of the benefits of breaking that unhealthy habit, you wonder how you ever did that in the first place. The example that he gave was a smoker who finally stopped smoking. They wonder, why did I ever pick up a cigarette and develop this unhealthy habit in the first place? There is nothing good that comes from it. I think the same thing about myself and the habits that I picked up, complaining about everything, always being right, having to have the last word, disregarding what other people want to do or how they see the world, not being able to handle feedback. Oh, here's a good one. Obsessive thinking, worrying, being anxious, judging, trying to control other people and manipulate them so that it's in agreement with what my mind or my heart thinks that will make it happy. Like, how did I ever develop those habits? Why was I ever doing those things? And, I think the why is important so that I understand why it's important not to do those things. And the reason I did all those behaviors, controlling other people, needing to be right, obsessed with other people and what they were doing or not doing, this fear of failure and perfection, having to have the last word, all those things was because I wasn't okay inside. That's why I couldn't handle what was going on. But once you start to get yourself together, you stop carrying on like that. You break those habits. And then you wonder, why was I ever doing that in the first place? Living here in Arizona, complaining about the heat during the summertime. I did that for decades. Didn't change the temperature once, but I kept right on doing it. And then I stopped doing it. And I wondered, like, what a waste of my time. Not only my time, my attention, because my attention could have been directed to good, but instead it was directed with something that had no benefit. I think about trying to control situations that are beyond my control. That's another thing. What a waste of my time and my energy and my attention. So pretty soon, well, if to break these habits, at least what happened for me was I got to the point that I had suffered enough. I was done doing that. I was over waking up on Monday morning wishing it was Friday. I was over having these conversations about, you know, whether this person is going to do this or do that, which I have no clue of whether they will or won't do it. That's like, I get to the point where like, I'm not going to worry about it. We'll see what happens. And when I get there, we'll deal with it then. Man, that's such an easier way to move through life. Now, it takes practice. Just like breaking any other habit takes practice. For people that have been committed to getting up every morning to go and exercise, for most people that I know, that wasn't something that was easy to do. No, they became so committed to it that they made that the habit. But I also know people that that's not what they do every morning. Their habit is hitting snooze, not getting up, having reasons and excuses. The same thing goes for nutrition of why they can eat this or why they can't do that or why they deserve this whole 9 yards. And that becomes a habit. But it has a cost to it, very few, if any, benefits. And then you start to work on yourself in such a way that you the suffering becomes so great that you stop doing that. You stop trying to control why your spouse isn't doing this and why they should be this way, why your children need to be a certain way, or your colleagues at work and all this other stuff. Aren't you exhausted from that? I certainly was, you know, and you let all that go and develop habits that really serve you. And those kind of habits become beneficial to other people for a longer period of time. So I encourage you, to look at the things that you're doing right now and ask yourself, why am I doing this? It's not healthy. It's not to my benefit. If you're a person who is disappointed and worrying and fretting over recent events, you can stop doing that. Or you can keep doing what you're doing, feeding that habit. Continue to be consumed by the news or all the other things that take you down that road. You can continue to do that. It won't end well. It will just continue to control your life. The wise person doesn't do that. The wise person says, why was I ever doing that in the first place? Oh, because I what? Because I'm not okay inside. All right, let's change that. And then you start developing new habits. You having bad days at work? Don't keep having bad days at work. Become the kind of person that says, no matter what happens at work, I'm going to have a great day at work. That's a possibility too. I see people do it all the time. They're the people you work with that when things seem daunting, they're the ones who are not complaining. Now, you might think they don't care, they're checked out. Oh, they're checked in. You're the one who's checked out because you're at the effect of this part of you that will make anything a problem. And I was the same way. There's a different path. And one is to break the habits that don't serve you and become committed to developing and maintaining the ones that do.